The Massacre at New Eden. The colony world of New Eden lived up to its name. Rolling fields of amber grain stretched to the horizon, punctuated by gleaming arcology towers that housed most of the planet's 3 million inhabitants. Orbital defense platforms maintained a vigilant watch over the peaceful settlement, though they hadn't fired a shot in anger since the colony's founding 30 years ago. Governor Sarah Chen stood at her office window in New Eden's Central Administration Tower, watching ships rise and fall through the atmosphere like shooting stars. Another successful harvest season was coming to a close. Agricultural exports from New Eden helped feed billions across human space, earning the colony its reputation as the breadbasket of the frontier. "Governor, we're detecting unusual readings from the outer system," reported Marcus Webb, her chief of security. His holographic avatar appeared beside her desk, face tight with concern. "Define unusual," Chen replied, turning from the window. "Multiple gravitational distortions consistent with large vessels dropping out of FTL, but they're not broadcasting any recognition codes, civilian or military." Chen's stomach tightened. In 15 years of colonial administration, she'd never encountered an unidentified fleet. "How many ships?" "Initial count shows 70-plus vessels, Governor. Energy signatures suggest heavy weaponry." Before Chen could respond, the sky erupted in fire. The orbital defense platforms, humanity's front line of protection, exploded simultaneously in perfectly coordinated strikes. Through her window, Chen watched in horror as massive ships with sleek, predatory lines emerged from stealth fields, their hulls decorated with glowing purple markings in an alien script. "Vraxian warships," Webb shouted. "They've completely surrounded the planet." The Vraxian Empire, an advanced alien civilization that had thus far remained neutral in galactic affairs. Their technological superiority was legendary, matched only by their apparent disdain for other species. But they had never shown aggression toward human settlements before. "Begin immediate evacuation procedures," Chen ordered, already moving toward the command center. "Get everyone to the emergency shelters and—" The first bombardment cut her off mid-sentence. Antimatter weapons designed to penetrate planetary shields impacted across New Eden's surface. Arcology towers crumbled like sand castles. Farmland was transformed into glass. The atmospheric processors that made the planet habitable began to fail. In orbit, civilian ships attempting to flee were methodically hunted down and destroyed. The Vraxians gave no warning, made no demands, offered no quarter. Their attack was silent, precise, and absolute. Through it all, they broadcast a single message on all frequencies in perfect English. "Let this serve as an example of the price of human expansion. You are unworthy of the stars." Marcus Webb's final act before the command center was hit was to activate New Eden's black box recorder and quantum entanglement communicator. His message reached Earth in an instant. "This is New Eden. We are under attack by Vraxian forces. Orbital defenses destroyed. Civilian casualties massive. No provocation, no warning. They're killing everyone. Don't let them get away with." The transmission cut off as the administration tower collapsed. In under an hour, 3 million human lives were extinguished. The fertile fields of New Eden were reduced to radioactive waste. Not a single civilian survivor remained to tell the tale. But the black box survived, buried deep in the planet's crust. And when human investigators arrived days later, it revealed the full horror of what had occurred. The Vraxians hadn't simply attacked. They had executed a meticulously planned extinction event, targeting civilian infrastructure with surgical precision to maximize casualties. The message was clear. This wasn't just an attack. It was a statement of Vraxian superiority, a declaration that humanity's very existence was an offense to them. As news of the massacre spread across human space, the initial shock and grief quickly transformed into cold, focused rage. The Vraxians believed their technological advantage made them untouchable. They thought this display of force would cow humanity into submission. They were wrong. In secure facilities across Earth and her colonies, Research projects that had been theoretical exercises became urgent priorities. Military commanders who had warned about the Vraxian threat were suddenly given blank checks and full authority, and in the halls of power, a single directive emerged. The Vraxian Empire would learn that humanity did not break. It did not cower, and it absolutely did not forget. The hunt was about to begin. Project Nemesis. Deep beneath the Martian surface, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Dr. Eleanor Santos stared at the holographic display showing the remnants of a Vraxian stealth field. Her team had spent 6 months analyzing the scattered debris from New Eden, searching for weaknesses in seemingly perfect Vraxian technology. "Run it again," she ordered, her dark eyes reflecting the shifting patterns of energy signatures. The simulation played out, a perfect recreation of how the Vraxian ships had appeared from nowhere to destroy New Eden's defenses. But this time, something was different. A pattern emerged in the quantum fluctuations, a fingerprint that even the most advanced stealth technology couldn't fully mask. "There," she whispered, marking the anomaly. "Every time they shift into stealth, there's a microsecond burst of tachyons. If we can detect that, we can track them even when they're invisible," completed Admiral James Chen, who had been silently observing from the back of the lab. As Sarah Chen's brother, he'd taken command of Project Nemesis with a personal stake in its success. The discovery was just one piece of a larger puzzle. In laboratories and shipyards across the solar system, humanity was preparing its response to the Vraxian atrocity. Traditional military doctrine wouldn't work. The aliens' technological advantage was too great. Instead, humanity would fight in ways the Vraxians couldn't anticipate. In orbital facilities around Jupiter, engineers were completing work on the Ghost Fleet, ships equipped with revolutionary quantum drive systems that could match Vraxian maneuverability. Their hulls incorporated metamaterials that absorbed sensor scans rather than reflecting them, making them nearly invisible to conventional detection methods. On Titan, weapons researchers had cracked the code of Vraxian shield harmonics. The aliens' defensive systems were incredibly powerful, but they operated on predictable frequencies. The new Phantom missiles could shift their energy signature mid-flight to pass right through those supposedly impenetrable barriers. But the real breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. Marcus Webb hadn't died in the New Eden attack. He'd been off-world, presenting research at a cybersecurity conference. His expertise in artificial intelligence proved crucial to Project Nemesis's most ambitious component. The Vraxians rely heavily on automated systems, Webb explained to a room of military commanders. Their ships are basically giant computers with weapons attached. They think this makes them superior, removing the human element from combat decisions. He gestured to a holographic display showing the architecture of a Vraxian warship's computer core. But every computer system has vulnerabilities. We've developed a virus, we're calling it Thanatos, that can infiltrate their networks through quantum entanglement channels. Once inside, it doesn't just disable their ships, it turns their own automated systems against them. Admiral Chen nodded grimly. They chose to attack civilians because they thought we were weak. They're about to learn that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our capacity to adapt and overcome. The project was moving faster than anyone had anticipated. The Vraxians' arrogance in leaving debris at New Eden had given humanity the keys to understanding their technology. Within 8 months of the massacre, the first Ghost Fleet vessels were ready for trials. But Project Nemesis wasn't just about military response. Intelligence operatives had been working to map the Vraxian Empire's structure, identifying key military installations and command centers. The aliens' rigid hierarchy and dependence on technology made them surprisingly predictable once you understood their patterns. Dr. Santos stood in the observation deck, watching as the first Ghost Fleet destroyer underwent its final tests. The ship was beautiful in a lethal way, its dark hull seeming to bend light around it, making it hard to focus on directly. "How long until the fleet is ready?" Admiral Chen asked, joining her at the window. 2 weeks for the first battle group. she replied. "The Thanatos virus is uploaded, and the weapon systems are calibrated. We can begin operations as soon as you give the order." Chen's reflection in the glass showed a fierce smile. "Good. The Vraxians think they taught us a lesson at New Eden. Time to show them how well humans learn." In a nearby hangar, elite strike teams were completing their final training exercises. They had been selected not just for their combat skills, but for their ability to think creatively and adapt to situations. Each team was equipped with infiltration suits incorporating reverse-engineered Vraxian stealth technology. The pieces were falling into place. Project Nemesis had transformed humanity's grief and rage into something focused and deadly. The Vraxians had demonstrated their power through an act of supreme cruelty. Humanity would demonstrate its power through precision, ingenuity, and unwavering determination. As the Ghost Fleet prepared for its first mission, a simple message was transmitted to every human world and outpost. Remember New Eden. The hunt was no longer coming. It had begun. The Ghost Fleet rises. The Vraxian border outpost Karak 7 was considered impregnable. 3 battle stations armed with antimatter cannons formed a triangle around the system's primary jump point, while automated defense platforms created an interlocking web of sensor coverage. No ship could enter the system without detection. At least, that's what the Vraxians believed. The first sign that something was wrong came when Battle Station Alpha lost contact with its automated platforms. The station's commander, Supreme Executor Vextal, dismissed it as a routine maintenance glitch. The platforms were self-repairing. They would come back online shortly. They didn't. Instead, the station's own systems began behaving erratically. Security protocols activated without warning. Doors sealed themselves, and through every communication channel came a single message, repeated in perfect Vraxian script: "Remember New Eden." The Thanatos virus had found its first prey. Before Vextal could sound a general alarm, the void erupted. Where there had been empty space, suddenly there were ships, human ships, appearing impossibly close to the battle stations. The Ghost Fleet had made its combat debut. Admiral Chen watched from the bridge of the UES Nemesis as the first phase of the operation unfolded. The Vraxian stations, their automated defense systems compromised by Thanatos, were unable to coordinate their response. Their powerful weapons fired wildly into space, missing the human vessels that seemed to shift and flicker like optical illusions. "All ships, execute attack pattern Delta," Chen ordered. "Remember your training. Remember why we're here." The Ghost Fleet moved with devastating precision. Phantom missiles phased through Vraxian shields as if they didn't exist. Point defense systems, their targeting algorithms corrupted, failed to intercept the incoming strikes. One by one, the battle stations began to break apart. But the Ghost Fleet wasn't just destroying them. It was collecting data. Every shot, every maneuver, every response was analyzed and transmitted back to Project Nemesis headquarters. The Vraxians had made a fatal mistake. They had allowed humanity to observe their technology in action. As Battle Station Alpha died, Vextal managed to transmit a final warning to the Empire. The message never arrived. The Ghost Fleet's quantum jammers, reverse-engineered from Vraxian technology, ensured that no distress call would reach the Empire's core worlds. The battle was over in less than an hour. Where 3 of the most formidable Vraxian installations had stood, now there was only debris. The Ghost Fleet had suffered no casualties. But this was just the beginning. Over the next 2 weeks, similar attacks struck Vraxian outposts across 100 light-years of space. Each strike was precise, surgical, and completely unexpected. The Ghost Fleet never attacked the same way twice, adapting its tactics faster than the Vraxians' automated systems could analyze them. In their arrogance, the Vraxians had believed their technological superiority made them invulnerable. They had never considered that this same technology, turned against them, would become their greatest weakness. Their rigid, hierarchical military structure couldn't adapt to an enemy that refused to fight according to conventional rules. Human strike teams, wearing reversed-engineered stealth suits, infiltrated Vraxian facilities with ease. The aliens' dependence on automated security meant they had few organic guards. By the time they realized the threat, it was too late. The Vraxian High Command was thrown into chaos. Their mighty empire, which had stood unchallenged for millennia, was being dismantled piece by a species they had dismissed as primitive. Every attempt to trap the Ghost Fleet failed. Every countermeasure was anticipated and neutralized. Aboard the Nemesis, Admiral Chen received the latest intelligence reports. The Thanatos virus had spread through the Vraxian military network, laying bare their communications and strategic plans. The location of their central command facility had been identified. "Send word to all Ghost Fleet vessels," he ordered. "Phase 1 is complete. Prepare for Phase 2. Dr. Santos, who had insisted on joining the fleet to monitor her creations in action, looked up from her data analysis. "The virus has exceeded all projections. Their entire command and control structure is compromised." Chen nodded grimly. "Good. Now we take the fight to their doorstep. They thought they could murder civilians with impunity. Time to show them the cost of that mistake." The Ghost Fleet regrouped, its ships gathering in the shadow of a dead star where no sensors could detect them. The next phase would be even more ambitious, a direct strike at the heart of the Vraxian Empire. As the fleet prepared to jump, Chen transmitted a final message to Earth. New Eden is avenged. The real war begins now. The Vraxians were about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't technology. It was the cold, patient fury of a species that had transformed grief into purpose and vengeance into an art form. Behind enemy lines, Captain Maya Patil moved through the corridors of the Vraxian command citadel like a ghost. Her infiltration suit, incorporating reversed-engineered stealth technology, bent light around her form while dampening any sound. The massive structure, carved into an asteroid at the heart of Vraxian space, was supposed to be their most secure facility. But the Vraxians had never faced an enemy like this before. "Team positions," she vocalized, the quantum communicator embedded in her jaw carrying her words to her squad. "Alpha in position at the data core," came the first response. "Beta covering the emergency hangars. Gamma ready at power distribution." Lieutenant Sarah Webb, Marcus Webb's daughter, monitored the operation from a cloaked shuttle hidden among the asteroid field. Her fingers danced across holographic controls as she coordinated the infiltration teams. Thanatos is fully integrated into their secondary systems. Primary command and control remains isolated on a secure network, but we've got eyes on everything else. This mission was the culmination of months of planning. While the Ghost Fleet had kept the Vraxian military occupied with hit-and-run attacks, intelligence teams had pieced together the location of their leadership. The species that had murdered 3 million humans at New Eden had retreated to this fortress, believing themselves safe. They were wrong. "Beginning Phase 1, Patil transmitted. Her team moved through security checkpoints with ease. The Thanatos virus had already compromised the automated systems. The few organic Vraxian guards they encountered never saw them coming. Non-lethal takedowns only. They needed prisoners for what was coming next. The Citadel's architecture reflected Vraxian psychology. Everything was designed to reinforce their hierarchical society. The lower levels housed drone workers and automated factories. The middle sections contained military quarters and command centers. And at the top, in chambers decorated with symbols of authority, dwelled the High Command. "Contact," reported Sergeant Chen, Admiral Chen's nephew. 2 Vraxian executors entering the lift ahead. They're heading for the command level. "Follow them," Patil ordered. "They'll lead us right to the target." The infiltration team slipped into the lift behind the Vraxian officers, who remained oblivious to their presence. The aliens were tall, their bodies covered in iridescent scales, with multiple arms suited for operating complex machinery. They spoke in their clicking language, unaware that human xenolinguists had long since cracked their communication codes. "The humans continue to evade our patrols," one executor said. Supreme Command demands answers. They are using our own technology against us, the other replied. The High Command must authorize the deployment of the Purifier fleets. Burn their worlds like we burned New Eden. Patel's hand tightened on her weapon, but she maintained discipline. The mission came first. Justice would follow. The lift opened onto the command level. Here, ornate corridors led to a massive chamber where the Vraxian High Command coordinated their empire's activities. The infiltration team followed the executors, recording everything through quantum-link sensors. Alert, Sarah Webb's voice came through, detecting energy spikes in their communication array. They're preparing to transmit something. All teams, execute Phase 2, Patel ordered. Across the Citadel, human strike teams moved simultaneously. In the data core, Alpha Team planted quantum disruptors designed to sever the fortress's connections to the outside world. Beta Team secured the hangars, ensuring no one could escape. Gamma Team prepared to cut power to critical systems. The Vraxian High Command chamber was a testament to alien arrogance. Massive view screens showed their empire's territory, with human space marked as a target for cleansing. The leadership caste sat on elevated platforms, their ceremonial armor glinting under harsh lights. Initiating final countdown, Patel transmitted. Prepare for breach. The strike team took position around the chamber's entrance. Years of training, months of preparation, all led to this moment. The Vraxians who had ordered the New Eden massacre were all gathered in one place. Sarah Webb's voice was cold with controlled fury as she gave the final confirmation. All teams in position. Thanatos is ready. Ghost Fleet reports no enemy movement in the system. We have total surprise. Patel allowed herself a grim smile. The Vraxians had thought their technological superiority made them gods. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest weapons weren't ships or guns or viruses. They were patience, creativity, and the absolute certainty that justice would be served. Remember New Eden, she transmitted. Begin the operation. The lights went out in the Vraxian command citadel. In the darkness, humans moved with purpose while aliens stumbled in confusion. The day of reckoning had arrived. And this time, there would be no escape. Judgment Day. In the darkness of the Vraxian command chamber, chaos erupted. Emergency lights cast crimson shadows as the High Command discovered their automated defenses had turned against them. Barriers sealed exits. Defense turrets targeted their own creators. And through every speaker came a message in their own language. For New Eden, Captain Patel's strike team moved with practiced precision. Stun weapons dropped the few organic guards before they could react. The Vraxian leaders, stripped of their technological advantages, found themselves helpless against human soldiers they had dismissed as primitives. Command center secured, Patel transmitted. High Command discontained. Across the Citadel, other teams reported similar success. The fortress that had been considered impregnable fell in less than 15 minutes. Not a single shot had been fired in lethal mode. Admiral Chen's voice came through the quantum comm. Ghost Fleet moving into position. Beginning Phase 3. Outside the asteroid fortress, space rippled as hundreds of human ships decloaked. The Ghost Fleet had surrounded the entire system, while the Vraxians were distracted by the infiltration. Any hope of rescue or reinforcement was cut off. In the command chamber, Dr. Santos and Marcus Webb arrived with a security detail. They began accessing the Vraxian central database, downloading evidence of countless atrocities committed by the Empire. Bring up the main lights, Patel ordered. Let them see who beat them. The chamber illuminated, revealing the full scope of the human operation. The Vraxian High Command, 12 of the most powerful beings in their empire, found themselves facing soldiers wearing the insignia of New Eden's defense force. Supreme Commander Vexthal, leader of the Vraxian military, rose to his full height. Kill us and be done with it. He clicked in his native tongue. It is what we would do. No, Patel replied in perfect Vraxian. That's the difference between us. We're not here for revenge. We're here for justice. Dr. Santos stepped forward, activating a holographic display. "You're going to stand trial," she explained. "Not just for New Eden, but for every atrocity your empire has committed. We've accessed your records. We know about the other species you've cleansed over the centuries." The evidence was damning. The Vraxians had a long history of destroying civilizations they deemed unworthy, always hiding behind their technological superiority. New Eden had just been the latest in a long line of massacres. "Your technology didn't make you superior," Webb added. "It made you predictable. Everything you used against us, we turned back on you. Not because we're smarter, but because we never stopped learning, never stopped adapting." Admiral Chen's hologram appeared in the chamber. "The Ghost Fleet has secured all major Vraxian military installations. Your automated defense networks are under our control. The empire you built on genocide is finished." But humanity's victory wasn't just military. As news of the Vraxian atrocities spread, other species they had terrorized began to rise up. The Empire's own client races, emboldened by human success, threw off their chains. "You had every advantage," Paddle told the captured leaders. "Superior technology, centuries of experience, unlimited resources. But you never understood the one thing that makes humanity different. We don't break. We learn. We adapt. We overcome." The trials were broadcast across known space. The evidence was irrefutable. The Vraxian leaders were sentenced not to death, but to life imprisonment, forced to watch as their empire was transformed into a federation of free species. The New Eden Memorial became the headquarters of this new alliance. Where fields of grain had once grown, now stood a center of interstellar cooperation and justice. The black box that had recorded the massacre became a reminder. Never again would any species be allowed to commit genocide with impunity. Admiral Chen stood at the memorial's dedication ceremony. Surrounded by representatives from dozens of species the Vraxians had once oppressed. Dr. Santos and her team had already begun sharing their technological breakthroughs, ensuring no empire could ever again maintain the kind of technological monopoly the Vraxians had abused. "We could have destroyed them," Chen told the assembled delegates. "We had the power, but that would have made us like them. Instead, we chose justice over vengeance, wisdom over wrath. That's humanity's true strength." The Ghost Fleet became the peacekeeping force of the new Federation, its ships a reminder that technological superiority means nothing without the wisdom to use it justly. The Thanatos virus was transformed into a defense network, protecting developing civilizations from aggression. And on New Eden, life began to return. The first seeds were planted by children of the original colonists, growing in soil renewed by Federation technology. Where the Vraxians had sought to create a graveyard, humanity had built a monument to resilience, justice, and hope. The stars, once thought to belong to the strong alone, now shone for everyone. And in the darkness between them, the Ghost Fleet kept its eternal vigil, ensuring that the lesson of New Eden would never be forgotten. Humanity does not seek war, but neither does it break. It learns, it grows, and in doing so, it lights the way for others to follow.